Lions at Cowboys. Lions are favored by 3.5 points in this game. Um, I I think this has to be a statement game for the Dallas Cowboys. Now they're struggling. They have a lot of pieces missing. A lot of guys are hurt on that defense. As far as the Dallas Cowboys receiving core, I think they're gonna have to find a way to get more guys involved, right? Whether that's Turpin or whether that's Tolbert and struggle, against the passing game. So I actually need to I need to see the Cowboys win this week in order to have confidence in them, winning the NFC East or taking a wild card bid, in the NFC. I think Detroit has proven week in and week out this season that Dan Campbell is preaching to his players and they are listening and they are finding ways to win and they are finding ways to be explosive with a dynamic offense with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And they just came off a bye week. So they're all rested up and ready to go. Their defense, Aiden Hutchinson is a tank when it comes to the defensive line, and not like physically wise, but he is he is a force on that defensive line. So I do like the Cowboys in this one though. I think it has to be something for the Cowboys to find a way to win in your crowd, in your homeland, and find a way to make sure that you don't slip behind teams in the NFC. So I got the Cowboys winning this week. And then I always go with the local decision here, the Texans at Patriots. Patriots have a new quarterback in town. His name's Drake Maye. If you ever heard of him, go look at him on YouTube. Just kidding. Everybody knows him by now. But he is becoming an exciting figure to watch out for in the NFL. And it's just like the intrigue factor, right? I know that they went cheap on the offensive line this summer, and I know they went cheap, trying to find running back. They re-signed obviously Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson is their backup, and Ramondre Stevenson has given up quite a few fumbles. I think it's up to 4 now this year. But they're weapons, right? Demario Douglas, Jalen Polk, Hunter Henry. A lot of these guys are going to have to get really, really close with Drake Maye as far as development goes, chemistry goes. Drake Maye's gonna have to call the huddle, lead the team in a rookie year. Here's my issue with this. I always said, and I will stand by it, and I don't care if I'm repeating myself over and over and over again. If you have a rookie quarterback, the most important thing you've got to do is lock up an offensive line. You do not utilize your cap to go and get wide receivers. You do not utilize draft picks and go get wide receivers. You go out and you find a way to get offensive linemen that can at least hold a quarterback upright. Jacoby Brissett got absolutely pummeled throughout 5 weeks, and they're putting in a rookie quarterback to this point in this season. If I were in their shoes, I would do two things. I would have either started him at the start of the year, because if you want a guy that's going to have confidence in his players, in his receiving core, spring training is where training camp is where it happens. Not spring training. We're not talking baseball. It's training camp. Training camp is where these guys find a way to get comfortable with their receivers. If you start him in the middle of the season currently, you should have started him against Miami because Miami's defense is terrible, right? And so he could have gotten a lot more development with his receivers and more trust with the receiver and the quarterback, dynamic, right? Let's call it is what it is. Because if you now start him, you could be going down that Mac Jones avenue where you have shit offensive linemen. You don't have reliable receivers, and running back can't hold the ball. And defense, you're subpar defense right now. Let's call it is what it is at this point. So that's option A. Or option B, you wait out the entire season. You get a top 3 pick. You find that offensive tackle that can hold Drake Maye upright. And then what you do for the next 3-4 picks in that draft is you go get an offensive lineman. That's what you got to do in order to start from the trenches and move out. Detroit Lions are a perfect example. Detroit Lions were in shambles. What did they do? They said, Matthew Stafford isn't the guy anymore. We're going to trade for a young quarterback in Jared Goff. We're going to draft an offensive lineman like Penei Sewell, who the Bengals missed out on, instead of going for Jamar Chase. When, yes, Burrow and Chase have a good relationship from LSU. But if you had to look back on it, I guarantee Cincinnati was saying we should have went Penei Sewell, because Penei Sewell would have helped Joe Burrow not get hurt in his rookie year or second year where he tore his ACL. And that will be costly. That will be costly if you are the New England Patriots, because you did not shore up that offensive line. There are 3 prominent positions on that offensive line. It's left tackle, it's center, it's right tackle. Guess what? You don't have 2 pieces. David Andrews is out, and Owenyu's out. So moving forward, you've got to take care of that young cornerback, because otherwise, again, it's going to be a nightmare for him, just like it was for Mac Jones. Mac Jones had Josh McDaniels. Guess what? Josh McDaniels took the Raiders' job. Guess what? They hired Matt Patricia and Joe Judge to make something happen, which turned into absolutely garbage, dumpster fire. Year 3 with Bill O'Brien. You better hope that Drake Maye gets very, very comfortable with AVP system, because if not, it's bad news for the Patriots. And it's bad news for Drake Maye's development as a young quarterback in this league. I don't know why teams get cute. I don't understand it. Just go with what works. Owners stay out of it. You got to find a way to build in the trenches to protect your quarterback and get after the quarterback. Those are the most important things if you were to design a team. Look at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Perfect replica, actually, if you look at it. Tom Brady leaves. Guess what? They go and find a guy like Baker Mayfield, who all teams were like, nah, we're good on. Well, guess what? He's balling now, right? They got a good offensive line. They drafted extremely well. Their defensive line, yeah, they might have a couple of holes on that defensive line, but they definitely have a couple of pieces in their defensive tackle and the defensive end that they can rely on game in and game out. And it actually doesn't matter, because you know why? They're putting up close to 28 points a game this year. So if you're the New England Patriots, be very, very careful in regards to how you utilize Drake Maye early on in his career, or else that could be heading down a dark, dark alley. And you don't want that if you're the New England Patriots fans, and you don't want that if you're the organization and Bob Kraft. So I would be treading very, very lightly to make sure that Drake Maye, A, doesn't get hurt, and 2, that he thrives in that system. Because if he doesn't, well, guess what? Next week you're going Ben McAdoo. And you know what Ben McAdoo is with the Giants? Garbage. You know what he was with the Carolina Panthers? Garbage. So good luck. Don't get cute. Find guys that work in your system. Find coaches that are experts in that coaching scheme. Want to run a West Coast offense? Go look at the Shanahan tree, because right now you are not following that success plan. You aren't. San Fran's done it with Brock Purdy. I can go on and on and on. Philly's doing it with Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni. You gotta find a way. Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, again, another example. Work in the trenches, develop that line, to get a quarterback early, develop that quarterback, have him sit out for a year, regardless if you have Jacoby Brissett as your quarterback. You know what he is when you signed him. It's just the reason why you signed him, not to go on this tangent, but this is like something that really is pressing to me because if you look at the game of football, it has been tremendously bad this year as far as quarterback play. It just has been. And you know what you're getting out of Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett has a relationship with Drake Maye. And what does that equal? That equals having ties with the Patriots before or during Tom Brady's era when you have a backup quarterback of Tom Brady's era that won, 2 or 3 games that year when Tom Brady got hurt, right? And Garoppolo got hurt. Please pump the brakes, find a way to get Drake Maye some succession, and like allow him to thrive with good offensive line, good weapons. It doesn't even have to be the greatest of weapons. Just find receivers that can catch a freaking ball. And I think you got that, but you don't have an offensive line. So good luck running outside the pocket because they're not going to be able to protect him. Now I'm getting off my soapbox because I just rattled on about the Patriots who won. I'm not a New England fan, people. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I'm just speaking from experience with the Miami Dolphins. They went out and got Teron Armstead. They went out and got Tyreek Hill. They went out and drafted a guy like Devon Achane. They went out and got a right tackle in Austin Jackson. They went out and got a couple of really good guards. Robert Hunt, who's now with the Carolina Panthers. You got to find a way to build in the trenches or else you will not have a great team or a good team or a wild card team. That being said, we got Sam Smith coming from Chicago to talk about the Michael Jordan days and the current Chicago Bulls. We look forward to talking to him next week. Thanks for all tuning in. Again, go play Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code SharkSports.